Hey guys, and welcome back to our Star Wars Resistance recap show, Viva la Resistance! And I'm your host this week, Chris Skywalker Dome, and here with me I've got the Grand Admiral Kees. For some reason,
Oh,
I'm going with
nicknames?
our multiplex nicknames, but to be fair, they're both Star Wars related, so it works. It works fine. It works perfectly well.
This is true.
This is true. So, okay, just to before those over to Kees for your quick thoughts. I'm a broken record. These episodes just keep getting better and better and better, and I think that once again, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago for Children of Tehar, that was my favorite episode of the season so far. Now this is my favorite episode of the season so far, and the episode is the Platinum Classic or the Platform Classic. Yes, and
Platinum.
hey, what can I say, man? I was blown away. I for the risks and for the stories that this show is telling, nothing but high praise from me. Case, what were your initial thoughts on this episode before we get into it?
My thoughts throughout the entire episode was a Yeager episode. Wow, that is really cool. We haven't really had that because so far Yeager has been a little bit more mysterious, definitely less open about his past. Like we knew about the Battle of Jakku and his wife and kid. We don't know exactly what happened to it. Now we figured it out. Actually, he has a brother. Like the addition of the brother, and that Yeager needs to face his past with his brother. There was really good, really touching. Was very emotional, and like my only issue with this episode is that I thought it was a little rushed. It was just in one episode. I wanted more episode. Like it could have set up for a longer arc where we have more of this throughout the season, but we only got one episode because I'm like, there's so much more to explore here that I just want. So while that is might sound a little bit negative, it's only praise to. Yeah, I was really into this episode, and it was like pretty emotional seeing Yeager actually open up about himself with his brother.
Absolutely, like what this episode. Well, you know what? Let's get into it then. So this episode begins with just sort of your typical fun little shtick between the crew of Team Fireball, and then Yeager comes in and he has to tell everyone that, I'm off to go see Captain Doza, and everyone's like, "Ooh, can we come with you?" Sort of have that,
Especially Cass.
especially Kaz.
Why
If
are you smiling?
for all the Collider Live fans out there, like he totally pulled a Roxy Stryer right there. Can I come? So, but no, and then so they go to meet him, and then we find out there's this apparently hotshot pilot named Marcus Speedstar, who, as we come to find out, is Yeager's brother, and it's like, ooh,
He has a brother.
we're going there.
Yeah. And there's a past.
And there's a dark past that, again, we'll get into in a second, but you can tell that the tension is there from the get-go, and Scott Lawrence, who does the voice of Yeager, delivers such a nasty tone to his voice as far as what he thinks of his brother. It's like, you know what? Ouch. But once you get into the why, it makes so much sense.
Yep.
So, and actually, Case, like, what were your thoughts on Marcus?
Well, just the introduction, like the introduction. See, I just not, I'm still wrapping my head around it a little bit. I thought the introduction was good, but just the build up of because they really build it up to the point where we actually get the reveal, and I think that was really good. So we get introduced to the character. They build it up to, okay, there's history, but they keep just slowly peeling layers away without giving you everything all at once. And at one point, they do give everything when all the layers have been peeled, and then you're like, oh, that happened. Oh, there is a past. It is dark. And it's very personal between them. And Yeager is pretty much like himself. Like he's very close to himself. Doesn't want to do a whole lot with like doesn't really want to open up because he just wants to block it out. Which I mean, I get that. Like if you face something that is not that you don't really like, then you kind of want to block it away and just not think about it as much. However, he's faced in this episode with it, and his brother essentially makes him do that. Um, and like when we have the reveal and just how Yeager then deals with it, and how his brother is just really trying to convince Yeager of it, I thought it was really done well. And at the end, it also really makes sense that they're not good again,
It
because
does.
you can't just do that over the course of one episode. Even though they tried to do a lot in the episode, as I said, I wanted a little bit more of it over multiple episodes. They tried to do a lot already, so at the end you can't just have them. Oh, we're good again. That would be way too happy and definitely out of character for Yeager. So that's a really good point that they actually were like, but we're in a better place than we were before.
And
That's the one thing.
and that's why I'm glad you brought that up, because what I found really fascinating was going back to why you said, like, it felt rushed, but I think for the story they're trying to get across, it was perfectly paced, because I can already tell he's gonna come back, and they'll
Oh,
have a
he
moment.
has to.
They'll have that moment where again they start to come a little closer together. Whether or not it's before Yeager kicks the bucket, well, we'll see. I mean a double pun there. My apologies, guys. I know,
Okay.
I
That,
know,
that,
but
okay, that just happened.
but
Move along.
but yes. So and there's a nice little side story here that features a nice little nod, another nod to Force Awakens, which is the
Waffy and Death
Guavian
Gang.
Death Gang. You know, except I'm a little disappointed because there wasn't a nice Mark Ellis looking guy going, Marcus Speedstar, you're a dead man. You know, oh
How that the Conjure Club.
exactly.
You just
Mark,
do
I love
that.
you. But but no, and plus, like, it makes sense that you would bring in, like, those would be the sort of gangsters running around right now, because that's the time period
True.
of the
We're
galaxies.
right before The Force Awakens.
Exactly.
And apparently Marcus is in some kind of a debt. That was the same as Han Solo was in The Force Awakens. He was also in debt. Like he got a big loan from the Guavian Death Gang and Kanji Club in that movie to make sure that he could carry the Rathars around. And Marcus did something similar. He got a loan, and when he can't pay it back, well, the Guavian Death Gang is going to come after you. Like, pay up, or we kill one of your friends or something. So
Exactly. And in this case, it's Marcus's mechanic. So, who does who does Yeager loan to Marcus as a mechanic? Well,
his best
his
his
best
best
mechanic.
mechanic.
Oh God, poor Kaz.
Yeah,
But here's the nice thing: even though Kaz was a supporting character in this episode,
definitely.
it was really nice actually giving him a chance to sort of be the voice of reason in this episode, because
It's role reversal.
it is
Yeager is in this episode the main character rather than Cass, and Yeager has something that he needs to overcome, needs to face rather than Cass. Cass has been that in the rest of the show because he's the main protagonist. However, we've had those moments as well in Rebels where usually Ezra is the one who's learning, but then at one point Kanan actually needs to, because both Kanan and Yeager, while already older and more experienced, you're never done learning about life, about how to deal with situations in life, and that's something that Yeager needed to do. And it was a nice moment at the end when Yeager said, "I will not say this often, but you were right," and he said that to Cass, literally. So
exactly, and and again, like another reason that seriously, I am just starting to love Kaz as a character. Like, he is climbing up the ranks pretty quickly with each episode, as yeah, kind of a bumbling idiot, but the kind of bumbling idiot who is nothing but endearing. You know, um, and it's in
a little
moments
bit
like,
like Merry or Pippin in Lord of the Rings.
dude, yes,
Yes.
honestly, like that's the perfect analogy. Like, because you take Pippin, who I don't know he's my favorite Hobbit, but he's definitely one of the top two.
One of.
Yeah, one of. But because he started off as just this, bumbling sidekick, who then goes on the journey arc of a lifetime, and
Especially in Return of the King.
especially in Return of the King. You could make an argument that Pippin is one of the main characters of Return of the King.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
So,
that's the same for Kaz, it seems.
Exactly, and it's the same sort of arc where you think that they're gonna wind up taking him in a direction where it's just sort of stupid, but then they wind up going in a direction where he's just growing as a person, as a man, and not just as a spy. And I'm glad that we actually got away from the spy mission and whatnot from this particular episode, and that it was just focused on on the supporting characters.
I mean, to be fair, we've had most of the episodes have mainly involved Cass and his spying, and especially the last couple. The last couple of episodes have been very heavy on him spying, figuring stuff out, interacting with whoever is on the station. So now it was time for Yeager, and I thought that was a really nice change of pace that I wanted to see more of.
Absolutely.
One thing I really, really, really want to mention, in the cantina,
yes,
they did something that I geeked out about it. It's a very subtle nod for whoever played Knights of the Old Republic. But if you've ever played Knights of the Old Republic and you've listened to the music that they're playing in the cantina over there, I'm pretty sure it's just the first one, not the second one. But the music that they play in the cantina in Knights of the Old Republic, I think they changed it for the second one. They played in this episode in the cantina, and the moment that I heard it, I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing! It makes so much sense."
And then, of course, to have that. And here's the thing: you told me to just look out for something that's very small fan service, and this is the kind of fan service that I could just be like,
yes.
I'm like Randy in South Park, so.
Okay, I don't want that image. Thank you.
No shame.
It was a very nice fan service moment where I am definitely the one who says I am a fan and I'd like to be serviced. So come at me with this type of stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Especially whenever someone in Star Wars makes something of Knights of the Old Republic canon, I just cheer with joy inside.
Yeah,
because I love that game.
Same. Now, before we get into our final thoughts, there is one big thing that we need to talk about, and that is the actual race, where we find out so much information. Where we find out that the reason that they don't talk anymore is because the last time that they raced, Marcus cheated by using hyperfuel, and as we saw what that did. As we remember from the episode with Elijah Wood, we know what it does.
Yep.
So, we have that. And what happened was when Marcus used that hyperfuel, it caused a tremendous catastrophe, which cost so many lives destroyed, including, sadly, the lives of Jarek's wife and child. And I just remember I'm listening to this dialogue. I'm like, oh my god, are they actually going there? Oh my god, they're going. Oh my god, they just went there.
Yep.
Which makes that was brutal, but it makes the episode that much more powerful, and it makes the final scene that much more powerful when
engaging.
Yeah, I'm trying to not use the same words, but when the hug happens between Yeager and Marcus, you're just like, oh my god, with everything that these two have been through, and then the fact that Yeager is actually is able to be convinced to forgive his brother.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm sorry, Kees, I didn't see as much of that kind of storytelling in Rebels. Like, yes,
You're yet to rewatch it,
you
so
had moments
I
of
forgive you.
you had moments of that, like with Kanan and Rex, but nothing of this personal level. I mean, sure, again, you had moments of it with Ketsu and Sabine, but again,
Trom and Hera, but that's just me. I am
fair.
biased.
You are biased. You are biased, but that's fair. Um, but again, like, and again, it's that particular moment, especially with that backstory. Like, that's why, like, you know, this show is taking way more risks than people are giving it credit for, and that is
Yeah.
so refreshing.
Also, one thing, like with Rebels, most of the great moments come a little bit more from the characters we already know from the movies, and from like it's a kind of a transitional period, how you see the shows, because Clone Wars is only characters from the movie, and few that were introduced in the Clone Wars, but mostly characters from the movies. With Rebels, they did introduce a new crew with their new stuff. However, they still included Vader, Ahsoka, and people from the movies and whatnot. With Resistance, so far, it is pretty much only the crew, and the only characters, like, Poe has showed up, and Phasma has made one or two cameos, and that's about it. Like for the rest, we're definitely just with these characters. So you just see how it grows throughout these shows, which I think,
It's
like, every show has great things that they do for the show itself, and it works for the show. And that's however, it's different from show to show.
here, and actually, I know I've said this before, and I can't remember where I said this, but Clone Wars did a lot for the galaxy, for the universe.
On a private Skype call, I remember this one.
Oh, that's right. Yep. And then Rebels, it tells us this great story of great characters. But what neither of these shows
Yeah,
really did that Resistance is now really starting to do, lore. It is
that's true.
expanding on the lore.
Yeah, what Clone Wars does is that, like, you have all these characters that we already know from the movie, so you can't really expand on that. And we already know where it came from and where it ends. It's a very limited period of time where you can't play around that much. What did they do? Expand the galaxy, which they did a great job at. Like, show us species, shows new worlds, which is great. Rebels tells a really tight story, with these new characters that we don't know yet, but we get to know through the show. Good characters that interact with characters from the movies, because it also ties into the movies where we go to the rebellion. We see how the rebellion starts and grows to what we know it is in Rogue One and Star Wars. So that's more story oriented, and this one is very character oriented, and I love these characters. Tam, Yeager, Cass, Niku, they're all great. I cannot wait to see more of them. So yeah, I think that those are my final thoughts. Like, we now had an episode with Yeager. We now have every single character has had an episode at least. I loved all of those episodes where it focused on the characters. I want to see more of that. And I just want to see the story continue with like everything going on in the Colossus, because I'm very invested in these characters and what's going on in the Colossus. And yeah, I'm loving the show. It's great.
Same. Oh my god. And for my final thoughts, I'm gonna actually talk about that thing that I have been complaining
Oh,
about for the longest time, ever since the first episode. Which, hey, we had a great race in the first episode. We haven't had a race since, and now
you have a race.
we have a race. Yay! Yay! I know that was a horrible Kermit impression. Sorry, JTH. Yours is way better than mine.
Okay.
As my mom also just said, that was terrible. So that's just verified.
Also, hi, Chris's mom. Love those
uh,
Gotta love those cameos.
Gotta love those cameos, absolutely. So, and honestly, this race, gave us the same sort of flow and motion that the first race in the first episode did, but it did on a grander scale because now we had more pilots, and it was nice seeing more interaction with the other aces.
I just remember one thing. We saw Yeager in action
We
as a
did,
pilot. Yay!
and he's
That was cool.
good.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, he's so good as a pilot. It's not even funny. And yes, he totally would have won the race if he didn't opt to give it to Marcus so he could pay off his debt.
He was nice.
Yes.
It was a good character moment.
That was a great character moment. And again, another reason that I'm going to be bawling my eyes out when he craps out.
Yep. We all are.
Yep. And again, it was nice to see more of, like Hype and Tora and even Griff Holleran having a really douchey moment, which, you know what? I think that was actually kind of cool.
Oh, you mean
the TIE fighter pilot?
Yep.
who we've yet to officially meet, but I can't wait. But I can't wait to hear.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to hear him because he's voiced by Steven
Stanton. I was literally about to say it. So we're gonna be half blessed, half cursed with the wonderful voice of Admiral Raddus and Obi-Wan from Rebels. But in our case, also the voice of AP5.
Let's not forget AP5 is a character in Star Wars canon.
Who, in theory, I like a little more than you do, but he also had a very unredeemable moment. But that's neither here nor there. Guys, thank you for watching this episode of Viva la Resistance. Please give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more. And you know what? Tweet this out if you could, please, because, maybe if, some certain folks over at a certain company and some certain actors on a certain show want to come on by and talk about the show, I'm just saying.
That would be fun.
I'm being greedy for the plugs, but Kees, where can the good folks find you online?
Yes, plugs. Let's do this because I'm gonna spoil my number one contender match now because it's been up for a couple of days. I won! Yay! So I am in 2 title matches, not just one with Chris here. I am also in the singles title match in 2 weeks from now, I believe. Yes. Overall Multiplex Entertainment. I'm going for both the singles and the team belt. Teams I view for, but singles is completely on my own. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm going to face Robert Parker, who I respect immensely. I know how good he is, but I know how good I am. So that'll be a match for the ages, I assume. Look out for that. Also, you can find me on Twitter, @DutchMovieGuy, on Facebook, Kees Cornelissen. Once again, if you figure out how to spell that. And on this channel, doing Schmodown reactions and stuff.
Absolutely. And guys, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, and Skywalker Dome. And you guys can follow this very channel, Dedicated Art, on Twitter, Instagram, @D2A Channel. Please like our Facebook page. And going for the team belts with Kees. And I'm not going to say against whom, but before the end of this year, I also will be making my singles debut in fandom over on Multiplex Entertainment. My first time back in a singles match of movie trivia in a movie trivia league in
months.
In almost a year, almost a full year. So this is an exciting time. It's a scary time, but I'm excited.
You've been playing along with Schmodown. You've been playing with me in teams. I think you should be good.
I should be good, and I know how good I am. And yes, when it comes to the fandom versus regular movie trivia, I'm way better at movie trivia, but I do know a lot of my fandom, so I'm excited. But guys, stay tuned. And also, I know that the Who Cares Anime podcast hasn't been around for a little while. I'm sorry. I've started a new job, and the work hours have been a little bit crazy, but starting this week, it should start slowing down a little bit. Otherwise, because next week, not this coming Friday, but the next Friday for sure, we are back. We will be back with a guest.
Ooh.
And that's going to be the sort of direction we're going to start heading in with the Who Cares Anime podcast. So, until then, thank you for watching, and Viva la Resistance!
And may the Force be with you always.
Always.